Good morning, everyone. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 9:30. This is a meeting for our ARPA requests. Michelle, did you want to lead off?
Yep, I'll read it off in your package that I provided with you. The very first spreadsheet is the latest and greatest. I did color code it. Green shows that it's already been approved. A decision has been made. The orange, the light orange color is closed. So either it's been denied or they've withdrawn it or it's a duplicate. So items in white are items that have no decision made on them yet. I did put in the status column, if we've already listened to their request, I put their date in there. So some of them have a date of July the 14th, and there's still a few from July the 14th we haven't made a decision on. And then anything that's going to be heard today has a date of August the 11th. You should also have in your packet the schedule for today, listing the times that I asked for presenters to be here and their actual application numbers. And then the last portion is all of the application numbers that we will hear today. So the first item that we have, before we do that, I just want to go over what we've approved today. So we did receive the second tranche payment at the end of June. To date, we've received a total of $11.1 million in ARPA funds. We have interest of about $20,000. We've committed funding, committed or spent funds. I'm sorry, committed about $5.8 million of that $11.1 million. We've spent $3.7 million of that $11.1 million. That leaves total uncommitted balance in our ARPA fund of $1.639 million. So that is the amount of funding that we have left to actually spend or allocate. The first item on the agenda for today is ARPA 43 from the Jefferson County Health Department. Gino Cisco or Dr. Reedy. Are either of them online? Okay. I did revise ARPA 43 to remove the HVAC system, and I created a new project number for that of ARPA 44, just because ARPA 43 had 3 different components in it. It had lost revenue, $255,000, and the community outreach position of $95,000, and I removed the HVAC. So their total request at this point is the 255.
So Jessica, can you hear me?
Yes.
So any of the lost funding, Dr. Reedy and I discussed this. This was all, the lost funding is kind of expected revenue, and we believe, reviewing our records, that the lost revenue was actually reimbursed through what was called an ELC grant, or the grant that was provided for lost revenue due to COVID. That was provided by the federal government, the CDC, through the state of West Virginia. And so we're going to drop that request. However, the other request for the position going forward is something that we would definitely be interested in being able to have some funding for, at least going forward for the next year and possibly the following year. So go ahead and strike the lost revenue stuff.
$255,000.
So that would bring your request to $95,000, is that correct?
Correct.
And if you get the position, what's the plan for funding it in the future? That's what I'm always concerned about.
You and I both. I think that is the concern of any government agency is how do you continue to fund and keep your best people when you do finally land them. And so we've been doing pretty well. As we all know, the county's doing quite well. Revenues have grown reasonably well here, and we're not fully staffed yet, but we hope to be within the next fiscal year. So we'll probably be able to fund that position going forward, probably most likely through some type of state grant system or CDC grant or some type of private grant based around that particular position, and the interest in making sure that local health and public health agencies are able to fill those types of positions.
And is this 95,000 for a 1 year salary or?
That'll probably, that is a 2-year salary. So it's
Yeah.
not a very highly compensated position, but it is something that is necessary for public health and community health.
Thank you.
And I just really want to give kudos to the health department for their response and their efforts during the pandemic, and the vaccination clinics that they ran and spearheaded. I was over there for a couple of them, and it was just an amazing operation.
Let's give credit where credit is due. I started in October. That was Dr. Reedy in Gilliam Beach, along with the incredible staff we have here. So I'll make sure to pass that on.
And the phone calls we had too. So, status update, that was really good in the beginning of the pandemic.
Is there any more questions from the commission? All right. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you, Caleb.
The next item on the agenda is ARPA 31 and ARPA 32 from the Bakerton Fire Department. Unfortunately, Chief Smith was not able to make it today. He is attending interviews. He did send an email with his information. I told him that I would read it for you. He said that he would like to thank us for listening to his request. Ms. Lou Thompson, your treasurer, sent updated information regarding the numbers for payroll reimbursement that he has shared below, and it is updated to $52,489 for 2020, 2021, and 2022 payroll expenses that they incurred during the pandemic. As for the radios, Bakerton Fire Department is requesting funding in order to purchase new portable and mobile radios due to the inability to purchase them through their budget. They did make attempts through a grant, and their grant request was denied. They're understanding that because they applied for 2 grants and they were awarded a CBA grant funding, that they were only chosen for one of the 2. So they also, they were successful in receiving grant funding for other types of equipment, just not the mobile radios and portable radios. Currently, Bakerton is operating on the original Motorola portable radios that were issued during the original county upgrade over 10 years ago. The parts for both of the portables and mobiles are obsolete and are not waterproof. As chief of the only swiftwater rescue team in the county, he has a responsibility to his crew and to the community to make sure that they have the most updated and most reliable communications while operating on the river. Because the tower locations and the older radios, because of the tower locations and older radios, they're currently using Washington County, Maryland radio channels to ensure a better radio signal for all involved. In 2018, a boat accident occurred, and the Mayday communications was very hit and miss on pertinent life-endangering information. He did speak with Jeff, and they are checking on pricing for the waterproof portables because of the cost. He said he would only purchase 12 waterproof radios or portables and include the boat vehicles and officers. That includes the boat vehicles and officers, which are all water rescue techs. The remaining will be regular Apex radios to meet NFPA and state code, which requires apparatus to have a portable radio for each seat riding position. They require a minimum of 6 mobile radios for the fire apparatus and EMS. So he indicated that he would check with Sarah on the pricing, but there is a chance that theirs would be a little bit different because of the moat needing waterproof. He was hoping that they would be able to tack on to Sarah's pricing.
I'm not understanding why he wants radios for EMS, because I thought they sold the ambulance. And I don't
think
know if
they
he-
still provide, well, okay, I can ask him.
Well,
why
and
still
I don't
need them.
know, maybe they, I don't know. Yeah.
There could be a valid reason.
Right, there
Right.
could be, I just don't.
Okay, I can double check with him on why he still needs an EMS. Unless it's specifically related to the swiftwater rescue and any particular chase cars that they have in assisting operations. That would be my first guess, but I'll double
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, I just want to be clear of where we're going with radios.
Okay. Any other questions that you would like me to pass on to Chief Smith? So those are ARPA 31 and ARPA 32.
Well, perhaps, I'm just reading it again, perhaps he's seeing the the water rescue as EMS. Not, I'm always associating it with.
That's what I was.
Michelle was
Yeah.
saying.
Water rescue is
I think that might be the case.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Any other questions for Josh or for Chief Smith? The next two that we have on the agenda are from Jefferson County Coalition on Aging, ARPA 12 and ARPA 13 from Amy Wellman. I believe she's going to have her finance director present on her behalf, and she should be online.
She's self-muted.
Looks like.
Clara, you're self-muted.
Shoot. Mute. There we go. Sorry.
Hello, my name is Clara. I work for the JCCOA. The JCCOA is requesting $18,000 to replace the walk-in freezers and refrigerators. Both units have been in place for over 20 years and require frequent repairs. From March of 2020 through June of 2022, JCCOA has provided the following services to seniors and individuals with disabilities who reside in Jefferson County. Nutrition services are we've provided 3,826 congregate meals since we reopened in June of 2021 on a limited basis due to social distancing guidelines. We've provided 36,305 home delivered meals. We've provided 19,524 frozen and shelf stable meals. We've provided 588 grab and go meals and 645 emergency meals, totaling 60,888 meals to local seniors and individuals with disabilities on a donation basis. JCCOA has also utilized as an emergency shelter. We opened our doors to the American Red Cross during Superstorm Sandy and housed several individuals, as well as provided meals for Jefferson and Morgan County during that time. Thank you for your consideration.
Were you still requesting funding for the stipend for full-time and part-time employees during the pandemic?
No, we are only currently requesting the $18,000.
Is there any more questions from the commission? Thank you.
I will email you.
One moment, let me check with Amy if she wants to speak to you about the stipend.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. If you are considering it on behalf of the Jefferson County Council on Aging, we would like to request consideration for allocation of some of the federal funding provided to the county. We would like to provide the following to our employees: in-home care aid workers, transportation and nutrition staff only, who have worked through the pandemic as we consider essential employees providing services to seniors in the county. For full-time employees, a one-time payment of $4,000 per employee, totaling 11 full-time employees for a total of $44,000. And for part-time workers, one-time payment of $2,000 for 21 part-time workers of $42,000. That is a total of $86,000 for compensation to our essential employees who were on the front lines. Please note that we are not asking for the allocation to the staff who have worked in office throughout the pandemic, but rather those who have had direct contact with our seniors. We would also like to consideration of the additional allocation for approximately the $18,000 to replace the walk-in freezer and cooler. I am not clear on whether these items would fall under the guidelines. However, they are significant and we need them at the senior center at this time, which brings our total request to $100,000. And that's it. Thank you for your consideration.
It's actually 104,000. Okay, as decisions are made, probably at the end of this or even at another session, I will reach out to you and let you know what the status is of your requests.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Next item on the agenda, we're running a little early, is Department 5. Do we have any representatives here from Charlestown to present their request?
We don't have a hot seat?
Yeah.
Since it is a hot seat. There's no objection. Thank you for seeing us. We actually came before the commission, I believe, in May of last year to discuss this position. Your budget had already been done, had already been completed rather. So the idea is basically the same as a liaison position in Jefferson County to coordinate distributing the needs or seeking the needs or the assistance to help those folks in need in Jefferson County. We figured it's, part of it is the homeless. There's about 2% of the county is reported homeless at any part of it, at any time, various degrees of homelessness. I talk slow too, so you have a tendency to talk too fast. But there's also the other, we have the at-risk, battered children, battered spouses, that kind of stuff that really a lot of it falls on Jefferson County Community Ministries. But there's also other agencies throughout the county that kind of help out. There's no coordination with the assistance. So I think that's what we're kind of looking for in the our homeless committee report, which is published in, I want to say 2001 or so. Was basically one of the recommendations was to form this county liaison position to coordinate, not only to coordinate the needs within the county, but also to seek resources for funding to help the folks who are in need in our county. If you wanted to add anything to that, Melissa?
Yes, just to kind of give some historical information on how we got here. This did derive from the select committee's report. We did address the commission last May. Again, that budget was then finalized. Ms. Gordon was tasked with coming up with grant opportunities, and she, through her research, discovered that most of these types of positions are funded through block grants. And for Jefferson County, that serves as a result of Telamon and Berkeley. So we really have no one in Jefferson County that makes this area competitive to get to bring these resources in here. So I filled out the request, the ARPA request. It is for $150,000. We have been able to gather some community buy-in. This is a cost sharing endeavor that we hope to accomplish, not just, again, homelessness is not isolated to one incident or to one area or community, but, Charlestown is willing to put some skin in the game. Bolivar, Ranson has shown their commitment through other resources. So I think this is definitely an opportunity where the community can show that they are investing in its people, and I think ARPA is a solid funding source for this. So.
If I could just add, it's kind of just the initial, because I think once this position is established, or if it's established, this can be paid through grants and all that stuff that would be coordinated through that person.
And I think during your original presentation, Charlestown had indicated that even if grant funding wasn't available, Charlestown was committed to ensuring that the position would be funded in the future, if I recall correctly.
Well, we've committed $25,000 is in our budget for this position.
My question is, who manage this person? If it's only one position, I mean, do they float throughout? I mean, do they go from town to town to find out what the needs are? You know, and maybe you can't answer those questions yet. And how we, you know, community ministries certainly is helping with the problem. They can't do everything. But how do we not duplicate, but coordinate with everyone? Maybe that's the challenge. I don't know.
Well, so this is a Jefferson County position,
Right.
position. So I don't know if you were able to see the job description before. I know the former county administrator drafted this
Right.
job description.
It's
It's
been a
been
while.
approved. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's been a while
It's
since
been a
I've
while,
seen
okay,
it, yeah.
yes. And so really, I think it's just how to recognize the needs of the various municipalities and the community as a whole is really just networking, connecting with Jefferson County Community Ministries has a wonderful grasp on the needs of our entire county. And so it's working with those just individual entities in all the municipalities. I think what affects Bolivar also impacts Charlestown and Ransom holistically. So if anything, I think Jefferson County, working with the community ministries, working with all the municipalities, the county, I think that position will be able to see the needs.
I can definitely speak to that a little bit, because back when we had the Council for Affordable Housing here in the county before it dissolved, and then as the home consortium rep, everything does go through Martinsburg.
I know that. I know
We
that's a
do
big
need our
problem.
own little thing here to
Yeah.
coordinate, so.
I guess back to Commissioner Tabs, who's going to manage or have oversight over this position to make sure they're delivering what you're paying for in that role,
So,
and meeting those goals?
yeah, I guess, are you suggesting that this position be a Jefferson County direct report or a Charlestown direct?
I think Jefferson County, because I think the problem is much greater than just Charleston.
Okay.
And y'all have in your budget for $25,000 every year to go, like, help fund it, or?
As you know, the budgets are only 1 year. so-
Well, every year, well,
Yeah.
the next year.
I'm personally committed to that. Definitely in the fiscal year 23 budget, and it was in the fiscal year 22 budget.
Okay. And I was invited to a meeting a long time ago. We talked with different mayors, and I think there was some talk with all of them contributing a little bit for this position. Do you know where they are as far as Bolivar, Harpers Ferry, or Ransom?
Well, we know Bolivar has committed some funding for this effort. Ransom, right now, they've actually donated some land for a new location for Jefferson County Community Ministries. I don't know if they specifically, well, I know that specifically they have not at this time committed X number of funds for this position. Shepherdstown and Harpers Ferry, I do not know what their situation is. We do have a mayor's meeting at the end of the month, so that will be part of the agenda. So we'll definitely see.
Yeah, because I have been somewhat reluctant to fund positions or support positions for some extra support, creative positions, I should say, without knowing the funding source in the future. But if we could find out from the other mayors how much they will contribute, that would make it certainly my decision easier to make on it. So,
But we certainly get to what their level of commitment is for this position. I think everybody's on board, but it's just figuring out the level of commitment.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think that the position, if done right, will actually kind of perpetuate its own funding source through grants and these things.
Yeah.
We really, we're very isolated right now because we don't have that coordination.
I agree.
Yeah. And you're right, most of the organizations that deal with these sorts of things seem to be located in Martinsburg and have greater influence.
Right.
I think this will definitely make Jefferson County much more competitive
Right.
in getting those resources here.
I can introduce Keith Lowry from, he's the director of Jefferson County Community Ministries. So he's here. I don't know if you want to mention anything.
Grateful for all your support.
So I'll ask the question that Commissioner Tab asked earlier too, because you've got 150,000 on there. Is that for 1 year salary? What is that for? What's that request amount to cover?
And don't let me overstep, Mayor, but I think so. This is for the initial startup. I think we'd be at the discretion of the county to set what that salary is. I believe Ms. Gordon just plugged in 150 to cover all of the insurance, startup cost, everything like that. But that salary would be set and established by the county.
And that salary, based on the amount of matching funds from Charlestown at least, that salary would be multiple years. It's not just 1 year.
Well, we have to provide office space and
Right.
all that business, all those business.
There would, I have a location would need to be determined. You're going to have large amounts of public coming and going, and more need assistance. And this person would need to be able to provide those lists of resources that are available. Maybe it's directing them to Jefferson County, ministries, or maybe it's directing them to some sort of social services network, things like that, or to the health department to get immunizations for their children, helping them find affordable housing. So this person would be that central resource for
DHHR.
correct.
To your point, Commissioner, I think wherever it makes sense to have that location would be good.
Yeah, you've got to really have it with public access. Easy public, walkability and all that.
Keith, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I wanted to just jump in and say, sorry, I was late. I thought it was at 10 o'clock, so I thought I was there.
But it was.
Hey, your fault.
Those guys typically.
But to answer your question and to support what they're saying is that when we go down, for instance, right now, we are trying to build this new facility. And we have to do all the coordinating work, we as a single entity. And I'm going down, and I thank you for the letter that you gave us. But when I go down to Charleston, it would be really good to have the county formally represented as opposed to just a letter. Because that way the entire state would know we're not just sitting back waiting, we are actually proactively involved in this situation. And we currently are trying to coordinate all of these efforts, but it would be really good to have somebody officially from the county that we could officially coordinate with and let them know all the extent of what we're doing. And that way, the synergy from that would be outstanding, both at the state level and at the county. So that's, and I applaud the mayor for doing this.
If we were able to find the money to sustain this position, would this person be able to work out of community ministries or?
I offer that to you as a, sure, we'll find a place.
Okay, I was just curious, because I think,
Yeah.
kind of goes hand in hand, I think.
Yeah, I could provide the office space. That's not an issue.
Okay. All right, you check that box. Thank you.
Sure.
Is there anything else from the commissioners?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The next person that we have on the agenda would be Jeff Polzinski, our Director of 911 Center, with 911 Desi Minute. Is he online? We're
I
early.
believe Jeff was supposed to be here in person, but we're running.
We're running early. I think Maria's here. So
I
we'll
did
go,
send him an email telling him.
we'll go ahead and jump to ARPA 8 and 9 with Maria.
Hi, good morning. Should I start or you all start? I just want to say hello, good morning, and thank you for having us today. My name is Maria Catagnani. I'm the Executive Director of the Charlestown Horsemen's Benevolent Protective Association, HBPA for short. I want to thank you for this opportunity to present, but I also want to thank you all for being public servants because we realize and understand what a huge commitment that is, and we really appreciate all the work that you do.
Ditto. I'm Mary Sell from the Breeders and also involved in racing as well. So, good to see you.
I have two documents that I wanted to give you that would be, unless you've already distributed them.
I didn't distribute them, but I did print them.
We did?
So I have them.
So I wasn't sure what your format was going to be today. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to do a little, read my little speech thing or just wanted to ask you questions. So I'm prepared to do it either way. If you want to just go quick, we can just go through questions. I will tell you that the two documents that I'm giving you are, one is for ARPA 8. And what it is And when I submitted the application, I did not have an updated quote because I didn't know what we were going to be doing. So I have, we specifically use the WVU Bureau of Economic Research because the legislature prefers that whenever, I guess, these kinds of things come up in the legislature, that's the preferred vendor, if you will, so it didn't go out to bid or anything like that as to who we asked to do this quote. Nevertheless, I provided you with an initial quote of $65,000 because it was what we had used back in 2012. This quote is now for $40,000. We anticipate, because we know from the other study, that we have additional costs due to marketing, education, printing costs. And according to the agreement, in that 2022 agreement, it does say again that we're responsible for that. So our actual ask from you all is, the quote is for 40,000, but our actual ask is now 50,000 instead of 65. We are hoping that the other partners would be the Maryland, the Mountaineer HPPA, which is up in Chester, West Virginia, and the West Virginia Thoroughbred Breeders, which is, their office is here, but it's a statewide organization. We're hoping that they will have funds to help us with this program. However, their funding mechanism is a little bit different than ours, and so they don't have, I'm not sure that they have the same resources, and I didn't go that far to ask them how much they might be willing to help out. I hope I'm not confusing the issue, but I just thought I might as well cut to the quick and tell you that, we're not asking for 65 anymore, we're asking for 50. Well, we'll have that, but the purpose of the study, of course, is to give us information about the number of employees, the number of wages, the business volume that we provide, the taxes that we provide, not only to Jefferson County, but our impact, our economic impact for the state. For instance, one of the numbers that comes to my mind is that we had direct and indirect employees in the industry of 3,500 people in Jefferson County in 2012. And I think that the number in there is something like 48.8, that accounted for $48.8 million in wages. We also accounted for something like $2.2 million in taxes. And I believe our business volume in Jefferson County in 2012 was 1.59 million. So we are a significant part of the community. The study is important to us. We haven't had a recent one since that 2012 study. It's important to us because when we go to the legislature, when we are anticipating positive and negative things in the industry and in the legislature, we have to be able to justify our existence. We all know that, right? Whether we're a public or a private entity or an agency, we have to justify it. And that's what this helps us do. We had an extraordinary expense. We lost money in 2020. We had to shut down. When the governor had initially made the order, we had to shut down the racetrack and the casino both. We immediately went to the governor and to Commissioner Leonhardt of the Department of Agriculture and said, look, we need to be declared essential personnel because we have 900 horses that we have to provide for. We are not going to be able to move those horses off the property. We don't have someplace to put those horses. They did immediately get us the essential personnel designation, but a condition of that was that we would work something out with the racetrack management that we could but pay for the wages of their people to maintain security, track surface management, facilities management. It wasn't a huge amount of people, but nevertheless, we paid over $40,000 in salaries for a 6-week period while we were shut down, so that we were paying their salaries not for PNGI, but we were paying the salaries so that we could stay open. We were allowed to train them on an abbreviated schedule, which was really important to us. We did go right back then whenever they were allowed to open up again, and we had racing without spectators. We were permitted them to go off of that scheme with PNGI. So that was an extraordinary expense. But we did also, because we had loss of the loss of racing, the HPPA also had loss of administrative revenue, Q2 and Q4. We did apply for EIDL funds. We got $2,000 from EIDL funds. And we did apply for the PPP funds, which we were awarded twice for both quarters, roughly $24,000. They were approved and they were, what's the word? I think the word escapes me now. We didn't have to pay them back. They're forgiven. I don't know if you need more.
I think that, this is a one-time investment that was going to last for 5 years. It's going to be something we can use over and over again. And it really helps us improve the statutory programs that benefit the county, the revenues for the county, revenues for employees. And once again, it was an extraordinary effort and cost to keep horsemen and their employees employed. And it helps, of course, for the breeders to keep the farms open and the character of this county. So appreciate your consideration on it.
Now, I see two numbers here, ARPA 8 and ARPA 9.
So we do have a second request. And
Okay, I just want to make sure I hadn't missed something.
No,
This
no,
is
no.
all on the economic impact, okay.
yeah, this is all about 8. This is all about number 8.
Okay, gotcha. Are you ready to hear about number 9?
Ready for number 9? Okay. So number 9, there is a piece that we gave you from Dr. Crystal Smith, who is the teaching professor at WVU Davis College of Agriculture at Ruby Research Farm, which is an equine facility that they have there. They have their horse unit there. They do classes there. They do some community events there as well. What we would like to do is, or what we're proposing, and we've never done it before, so new ground for us too, is partner with WVU to create a program that's basically an internship, externship sort of program. We would hope to do some short term, like 1 week things, so kids could do the program over spring break or something, or do like 2-month projects. We would ask local businesses, local businessmen, tradesmen to work with these students, basically to mentor them and teach them a little bit about all the things that are pertinent to our industry. These students are already inclined toward the equine industry. And so it's pretty much a natural fit. You know, we have breeding farms here, we have trainers, we have the racing commission individuals who can teach them about, state regulations and such. So we feel like we could make a pretty comprehensive program for the students. We would take this money and it would be distributed to the students on like an awards basis more than on a wage basis for a couple of different reasons. But the whole point of that is that every dollar that we give to that would be given to the student would be turned around and put back into the program, because they would have to, or not back into the program, but back into the county, because the money would be to pay for living expenses, and it's not wages, it's not meted out as wages per se, but it would be just basically paying to live here and work here for that period. So whatever you invested in this program would come back to the Jefferson County.
And it's to attract the workforce, and other, the West Virginia University recruits candidates for its program nationwide, and other state universities place equine graduates in farms. So it'd be workforce development. So.
And we do have an event planned already for April 15th. Dr. Smith is going to bring about 100 collegiate students from around the country here to Jefferson County in April. I think that the actual date is April 15th. We would invite you to come and share with us that day, because we would love for them to, meet and talk to people that are involved with the legislative process, or the community process, funding and such. We would love for you to come. I'll do a better invitation later at that time. But we're going to have a dinner with them and sort of have little, like tables of 8, tables of 10, whatever, so you all can interact with them. It's pretty, it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. So if you have any questions about the goals or anything, I'll try to answer.
So is this a students come, WVU sorts out who's coming,
Mhm.
who supervises them
Exactly.
while they're here.
Exactly.
It's all WVU supervision?
There is, well, I don't know how much we haven't really thought about a supervision perspective of it, you know.
I think you better.
But they're here under the auspices of WVU. The program would be in conjunction with us. Dr. Smith would have, what's the word I would say, supervision.
Yeah, well, I'm sort of comparing this, I'm familiar with AmeriCorps and Energy Express, and you're more or less talking about a stipend for them to live here and do this internship. But, you know, they've got to somehow have someone to report to, for
Yes.
hours, and you have to have
And-
insurance and all that. good
Right, well, we discussed insurance, and I think WVU has a provision for that.
Right.
They vet the students, they have to apply, they set up a curriculum and with some
Right.
measurable objectives, and there's a letter from Crystal
Right,
Smith.
Dr. Smith
That
did,
would, that's it a little more.
yeah, we didn't go to that detail
I
yet
understand, yeah.
because, you know, I didn't want to go to veterinarians and ask them if they were willing. Well, I mean, I have done that. I've talked to people and asked them if they'd be willing, and they are willing to do it. They think it's a great idea.
And we need more large animal vets.
And we need large animal vets, right? I know that. But this would be good for people who are interested in vet techs and
Yeah,
regulatory bodies. We'll of course have someone, we'll have Charlie McIntosh, who's the director of racing. We'll have him involved, you know, we'll have them meet with the stewards. So we won't just leave it specifically to the businesses. It will be a broad spectrum program.
Okay, thank
They
you.
try to attract workforce and keep West Virginia University graduates attracted to Jefferson County to come and work in our industry.
Thank you.
Anything else from the other commissioners? Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you for the
your time.
opportunity. We appreciate you so much.
We have the director of 911 here, who will be back to him, or number 6.
Morning.
So this is for ARPA 6, associated to Jefferson County Emergency Communications, Next Generation 911, and the Emergency Services Network. So you've no doubt seen the application that we submitted for this project. This project proposes to create utilizing funding to create a next generation 911 telephone system. So next generation 911, it's a system of 911 services, databases, and capabilities that run on the emergency services network, or what's called an EZNet. It's a network of networks, and there are many different capabilities for it that will provide the PSAP and beyond, the PSAP being the public safety entry point, or your 911 center, and beyond, meaning the first responders with many capabilities. Besides the ability to receive voice, which is what we have today, we will have the ability to receive video, multimedia, text, or data sent over a data network from various communications devices and sources. These are 911 calls from and our citizens that we serve, and from the visitors that come to our county. Text to 911, a person that's not able to talk. Texting obviously is blown up. The ability to text to 911 in a domestic or a hazardous situation, they can text 911, we can talk to them back because the data network will support that. Image and video transfer, suspect vehicles, citizens taking pictures, being able to provide that picture onward from the system, through the system onward to the responder while they're en route. Picture of a suspect sent to the center becomes part of the record of the case. video situation that gives the dispatcher a more clear picture that will provide for more information for the responder as they're responding to a house on fire, the responder being able to see it while they're en route. Any in progress call that allows a responder to be better informed is a plus. Telematics, think OnStar or Ford Pass. Airbag deployment, information about speed, or other data that gives the responder information during the response that they may make better decisions or take different actions based upon the information that's provided to them. We can make policy based upon the data that we receive through telematics, sending different apparatus, sending more apparatus, things like that, and better defining our responses. Future advanced data sharing capabilities, video call, the possibility of having video calling to the 911 center where we're actually talking to somebody and seeing them. And we all know our Zoom meetings, you know, it's nice to see people in person and to see reactions to be able to utilize that. So an emergency services network or an ESI is designed as the emergency services network and not just a 911 network. Automatic and advanced data sharing between the public safety responders and the ability to share information received by the caller and transferred to the responder is where our future is in 911 and where we're going. While they're en route, it saves valuable time. Advanced call handling and routing processes based upon the caller's geographic location. The system knows that they're actually on the Appalachian Trail and will route to us or route to Loudoun County versus for us trying to determine which cell site is it and should it go to Loudoun County because the probability of calls received in that sector are routed that way, and that's how the network works today. The backup 911 center capabilities. Neighboring PSAPs in Loudoun, Clark County are already on, and all in the DC area are already on a next gen 911 capable network. They're already on the EZNet. They're utilizing these services today. Berkeley County and Jefferson would collaborate to ensure that we're tied into each other. We're each other's backup right now. Today, Berkeley is our backup. We're Berkeley's backup. We often have taken over Berkeley County's 911. I don't want to say often, that's not true. We have on occasion taken over Berkeley County's 911 calls. They have actually sent us call takers and worked and operated in our 911 center. And the ability to be able to do that in the next gen environment and the ability to data share because the network is there is huge. The expectations to provide the best level of service and technology, I think, is there. And we have that expectation. We want to provide that to our citizens. Integrated with our CAD system and our recently purchased and installed and live Vesta telephone system, which is actually catered to performing on an EZNet, provides reliability and redundancy to the county. So our current provider and the system that we have today is routed services, single source, copper switching, and does not provide any type of data capability and flow and pass through. There are frequent failures in our system throughout West Virginia. We don't have many of those failures, but when we do, it's a frustrating thing, and there's no plan on our current provider to be able to move towards next generation 911. We have not heard anything, even though the West Virginia Council has asked. So whether now or in a few years, we're going to be required to build this network. We will be required to build it. We won't have to move. Unfortunately, we cannot afford to rely upon the current provider to move a next gen 911 project forward. In 2018, we came in front of you to request funding for the Vesta 911 telephone system. So that's the equipment that is actually in the 911 center and located physically here. Project was complete, successful cutover on 11 May of 2022. And we have been successfully using that, the call, the customer premise equipment and the call system since May 11th. We informed you at that time the next step was to start moving towards procuring and integrating core services in the next gen 911 environment. And so funding this project would specifically take advantage of that next phase. So in summary, project proposes to monetize call handling and routing. We want to build the network. We will contract with an EZNet solutions provider to implement and manage the core services that would provide modern, resilient, and secure public safety network. The project proposes to deliver data to police officers, firefighters, paramedics using the emergency services network and giving us the capability to transfer critical information from the citizen directly to the responder. Proposes to work with the neighboring county to migrate our networks, ensuring that we're constantly backing up. Berkeley's moving. They're going to move. We need to move with them as well. So with this ARPA funding available, this project fits perfectly into the intentions of the funding, building the infrastructure that will allow put the county into the future of 911. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for either Jeff or Russ?
I have one. The request is for 750,000. Is that an exact number just, or do you have something?
That is not an exact number.
Okay.
For all the research that we have done, the numbers that have been provided to us with our research for our neighboring counties, we have submitted that number as a generalized figure that would possibly cover the implementation of this project. We still have questions about fiber connectivity, the BTOP fiber that was put into the 911 center, the ownership of that. There are some questions about that. Frontier's claiming that ownership, but it was installed based upon federal funds. They were the contractor to install. We also have Chantel fiber into the center. So any type of core services that are delivered to the 911 center have to have at least two paths of data flow into them to ensure redundancy and resiliency and reliability. Questions about that BTOP fiber may require us to move down a different path and install a different fiber route. So that could be a cost to us.
And just wanted to explain that the process that we're going through now and that we've gone through in the last couple of ARPA meetings has been to simply approve a budgetary amount. No expenditures have been approved in any of these particular ARPA meetings. Expenditures need to follow the proper procurement procedures and would then be approved publicly by you during regular sessions. So this is just really approving, determining what the budget should be.
We would expect, and this has to go to RFP. Berkeley County has the intention to issue RFP. I have been in communication with my counterparts in Berkeley and to the for the process, and that they would have us be part of that project or allow us to utilize contract and procurement vehicles in order to be able to procure for Jefferson County. And we have done that in the past for projects such as this.
Now, I'm not a tech person. And it sounds like you can really gather some great information, both visual and, speech and text. Now, how will your dispatchers, we're talking about everyone getting new radios, most fire departments and all. Are they gonna have to need new radios, if not a radio, more a cell phone? How will all this information be shared?
So this is the network that allows for the flow of information from a citizen into the 911 center. We have equipment that's already in place that, again, caters to the EZNet. And then our CAD system would be that avenue that we would be able to send it out to the responder. Every police officer, every fire engine, every ambulance has a mobile data unit
Okay.
that's attached to the computer to dispatch network. And public safety
Okay,
network.
all right, so everybody's got their laptop in their vehicle or something like that.
And this also provides us further capability in the public safety network and on the CAD system, instead of potentially relying upon a vendor such as Comcast for, services. We could hand out our own services.
Okay.
It's possible.
If I can just say one thing, I think that this benefits not only our citizens, our children, our parents, ourselves, as far as anything having to do with emergency services, but it benefits our firefighters, it benefits our EMTs. When they get a call and the call comes in and you're trying to describe what's happening to them, possibly a picture or something like that could be a great benefit and a life-saving measure. Allowing us to catch up, with what's the thing.
Yeah, right, that's what I was thinking, do we
Yeah.
need cell phones instead of
Today's-
I also want to say that we've spent a lot of time and effort on the CAD system.
Yes.
Just approved the CAD administrator. And this is the integral part of the CAD system that we have in place right now. So as we move forward with CAD, and I just want to echo what Jeff said, we're going to be mandated, this is coming. So while we've got the funding, we can go ahead and get on it instead of, looking 2 years down the road as a budget request. The money may not be there. So we're going to have to do this.
And the pandemic really brought to light the need to have the ability to communicate remotely.
Right.
People couldn't come in and do that any contact reporting that they do now, bringing in pictures or bringing in information related to suspects or to different things. So that ability to communicate remotely really came to us.
I think as we move to this new ambulance program, I don't want to get there and then have to have the technology catch up with me.
Right.
I'd rather have the technology in place so the new program can catch up with the technology. The technology has to catch up with the new program. We
Right.
could be, it could stymie us. So it's a big lift, but I think it's important for everybody in the county.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you both.
Thank you very much.
The next item that we have on the agenda, we're running early. We have CTOG and then Kristen Stockford.
Have a great day.
You too.
ARPA number 2.
We want to thank you for having us back. I think we're back in the fall to discuss our request for the Charleston Utility Board. I'm here as the chairman of the Utility Board of Directors. And of course, Kristen is the general manager of the Charleston Utility. So I kind of want to start off from our original request, which was dated on October the 21st, 2021, and some things have changed. I don't know. Not the least of which is this incredible inflation of supplies and cost of actually doing business in this industry. So the R&R project we had in the letter, basically we estimated at $7.5 million. It's going to total $10.1 million. So, but the good news, or sort of good news, is we actually got a grant for $1.96 million to take care of the overruns between our estimate and what was actually cost. But one of the caveats, we actually put in for $5 million grant. One of the caveats of the response that we got back was, well, we'd like to see some local input, some local skin in the game, if you will. And maybe that grant would have been a little bit higher. And for some reason, they didn't even look at what the Charlestown Utility Board had put in as the local skin in the game, if you will. So I think they were maybe referring to other sources of grants. So I guess so. I want to just talk about the scale of the original letter. Is since the renewal and replacement project is already out to bid, it's already been bid, and we anticipate awarding that project, I guess, the first part of September to get that in action. We're not really kind of talking about that, but we can scale up the original request of $750,000 to what the collection systems projects would be, which is about 40% of what our original request was, which is about $300,000. So I kind of wanted to point out that, and please jump in anytime because I'm like a green bay in the woods here. But basically the county, 50% of this project has direct benefits to county residents who do not live in either municipality. Obviously, it benefits 100% of county residents, and about 25% for Ransom and Charlestown. So it's essentially it will increase the efficiency of the system and also help to protect our environment. I think that Charlestown Utility Board is probably the #1 environmental protection agency within the county, if you think about it, because they're taking care of our sewer and that type of stuff. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
I think the only thing I would add is that, this collection systems project has changed slightly from the original project that the district had. But for all intents and purposes, the project will increase efficiencies by decommissioning some lift stations that are no longer necessary. We are able, as part of this project, to utilize the Clean Water SRF funding that was committed to the district. So again, this is kind of a legacy project that we are now seeing come to fruition. Very important for the county and improving service to all of our customers. So excited. We anticipate getting the project out to bid this fall. So we'll have bid numbers. Again, we saw about a $2 million increase on our renewal and replacement project. So I'm hoping that the market has calmed down a little bit by then, but we'll see.
I think that we're hoping that the EEG grant, since they see that Jefferson County and the local county is putting skin in the game, they'll kind of say, okay, well then we can put a little bit more in as well. Help fund this project. I think is really very important, because it will decrease the amount that will fall on the utility board, which eventually ultimately goes to the ratepayers.
Now, Mayor, did you say that this project would affect, I think you said about 50% of the customers that are county residents and the others are Charlestown, Ransom, or did I misunderstand that?
50% of the projects are in the county,
Okay.
or outside the municipalities of Ransom.
Oh, okay. That's
I want to just confirm, are you revising your request from 750 to 300,000? Is that what I got from you?
Any other questions from the commissioners?
I don't have a question, but I do have a statement. Obviously, we're just receiving information today, but any vote moving forward for CTUB, I will accuse myself. There's an obvious conflict. So just so everybody knows, just want to make that for the record. Thank you.
I will notify you once the decision has been made. We may not make a decision today, but I'll let you know if the decision has been made.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yes.
Really appreciate your time. Like I said, I think this grant would be a building block for further grants. Thank you very much.
And then the last project that we have on the agenda for today would be Harper's Ferry, ARPA 14.
And they're not scheduled till 11, so they
We
may.
are-
Is Craig home, online, Jessica? can you come?
If not, we will take a 15-minute break.
So take a break, folks.
Take a break, yeah.
That's fine.
Michelle, do you want to lead us off?
Yes. The next that we have on the agenda is ARPA 14. We should have Fred Ray Holland from Harper's Ferry here.
I'm looking at the television up there and I can't believe my hair is that silver. Honorable Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to present Harper's Ferry's ARPA submission. I am accompanied this morning by the town's finance officer, Ms. Debbie Kelly, seated to my left. And I'm also accompanied by two members of the Harper's Ferry Town Council, Councilman Barry Hutton and Councilman Christian Petriconis, seated behind me. Approximately 13 months ago, I believe it was in June, late June of 2021, I was contacted by a member of this commission and asked to expeditiously submit a needs list for possible distribution of ARPA monies to go to Harper's Ferry. In late November of 2021, I was again contacted by this commission, and I was asked to re-enter our July 2021 submission into a new portal. Based upon the November guidance that I received, and I assume everyone else in the county received, the only guidance that, the only funding avenue that would be open to Harper's Ferry was our degraded water infrastructure system. We just didn't qualify for all of the other guidance that was outlined. Hence the $5+ million request before you is focused specifically on our water utility. Our entire water utility distribution system in Harper's Ferry is heavily compromised, needing a complete structural overhaul. Efforts to correct all of the deficiencies began back, I believe, in 2013, 9 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago. We contracted, Harper's Ferry contracted with an engineering firm, was GD&F, Gwen, Dobson, and Foreman, and they designed a $6 million two-phase project that included a new water plant and a new distribution system. And as the town was progressing through the process of acquiring funding sources, a private local Jefferson County utility brought litigation against the town that basically ceased all of our progress. After the litigation was finally resolved and we sent the project to bid, our subsequent USDA approved loan of $6 million that we had received was now only able to fund one half of the original project, which is the new water plant. It was one half of the project. This subsequently left our entire water distribution system unfunded. And now in 2022, due to COVID, due to price increases and overages, and due to the impact that the delay of the litigation caused us, our latest engineered projected cost just for the distribution system now exceeds $9 million. And I might add that construction of our USDA loan-funded water plant is now well underway, and we expect beneficial occupancy within 30 to 45 days. But again, that's only half of our water issue. And Commissioners, I am fully aware that you have already made significant firm commitments for a large portion of your ARPA allocation. And I'm also fully aware that there are many worthy entities competing for your remaining monies. I'm also a realist, and I know full well that there is no way that Harper's Ferry will receive its original $5 million request. I am therefore requesting an allocation of $800,000. This funding level would allow us to begin several of our significant and standalone, fully engineered needs contained within our total distribution project. These specific undertakings contained within the distribution project that ARPA monies would address includes the installation of new radio read water meters that will directly reduce our operating costs while simultaneously increasing our water use income. Additionally, the second item, we would also be able to begin the state mandated requirement regarding rehabilitating our water storage tanks, which are located up on Bolivar Heights. Both of these initiatives, water tank rehabilitation and radio read water meters, have been fully engineered. They are shovel ready and are independent from a more costly project of replacing all of our service lines that will end up consuming the majority of our $9 million projected costs for our distribution system. Let me just say this, commissioners, as you deliberate on all of these worthy projects that you are listening to, I would ask you just to consider, on behalf of Harpers Ferry, 5 relevant points. Point number 1, as a municipality, we try very hard not to impose our needs on the county. I think our track record shows that. We do not show up here on a weekly, monthly, annual, semi-annual basis asking for funds. Point number 2, our water distribution system is well beyond its historic life expectancy. Many parts of this system were installed generations upon generations ago. Point number 3, the current governing body of Harpers Ferry is committed to bring the Swan Hilltop Hotel vision into a reality as quickly as possible. The hotel would then become a prime water utility customer. Point number 4, the Harpers Ferry Water Utility services 4 entities that impact very positively on Jefferson County. These are the towns of Harpers Ferry and Bolivar, the Harpers Ferry National Historic Park, the Hilltop Hotel, and then finally, we also service a large numbers of residents in non-incorporated parts of Jefferson County. My 5th and final point, and from my perspective, to me, is the most important point I would like you to consider. I hope you give full and fair consideration to the fiscal and national impact that Harpers Ferry has on Jefferson County. We are one of, if not the principal tourist destination in the state of West Virginia, bringing significant revenue to Jefferson County. Thank you. I have with me for your nighttime leisure reading, if you're so inclined, the entire GD&F engineering study. It's a great read. It's single spaced and it's probably in Pica 6 point. Okay? So that's for your reading. We've taken the liberty, and Chairman, I'm not sure the protocol, but we've taken the liberty to extract certain sections out of this so you know that I'm not making this stuff up. And we've pulled out the significant portions regarding the need for and why the radio read meters are being requested, and a significant portion out of here regarding our water tower issues that need to be corrected up there because they are so degraded. Just the water tower section alone, do we have it? Yeah, it's right here. This also is in PICA 6 or 8. This is about 60 pages just on rehabilitating the water towers. So I just want all of you to know that we, as I am presenting these two issues, that they are contained within the big GDNF file. If I may, could I leave one copy of this for the record that I would like to have included in the record, which basically summarizes the need for the water tank rehabilitation and our radio read water meters, if I may do that. And I'd be glad to, or Miss Debbie with me, entertain any questions that you all may have.
Well, I know your water tank issue is severe because I heard about it many years ago. So I know they're not in good shape. You need to do something. Yeah.
And thank you, Ms. Taft. I might mention also for the record that we are painstakingly spending an inordinate amount of time applying for numerous federal initiatives to assist us. I can't begin to tell you how much help we are getting from the state of West Virginia through Ms. Marie Prociosco with the Water Development Authority in the state. We have applied with both Senator Capito, Senator Manchin for a congressionally directed spending support. We spent an awful lot of time, Debbie and GDNF firm, our Region 9, and our accountant in Martinsburg, Cox Holiday, putting our package for Senator Capito together. I thought we had a great package, and we were just informed 5 days ago we did not make the short list on that, unfortunately. And that would have entailed a 20% match. And the problem with Harpers Ferry and our district is our MHI, median household income, is at a level well above some of the other worthy needed areas in West Virginia, and I understand that. But I want this commission to know that we are doing everything that we can in the power of 285 people that we have to acquire the necessary funding. We've been unsuccessful at this time, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop. We have an initiative now. We're working with Region 9 through West Virginia as Water Development Authority and trying to get another type of a grant that would require a match. So we're not giving up hope. But Ms. Tabb, we do have a very degraded system. And I'm doing best I can with the resources that I have. And anything, I'm glad to enter anything else.
Did you apply for the ARPA funds to the state of West Virginia also?
Yes, we received, is that the 60?
No, 126.
Yeah.
2 years.
We received two. One was 61,000 and the other one was 61,000. Of course, that's based on population. Some of our other municipalities in Jefferson County, I understand, receive a considerable amount more because of their population. Those monies, we have already applied to our infrastructure project. They've already been spent.
I was referring to the House bill project, the House bill money. I forget the name.
4566.
I think we're doing that through the WDA.
Yeah, okay, through the Water Development Authority, that's being coordinated through, exactly, through Charleston, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
We just got another notification that there was another possibility. We looked at it and we don't qualify, and it was only for 60K. But we're looking at everything.
Okay.
And anything that this body could do to assist Harpers Ferry would be greatly appreciated. And again, I just ask you again, just to focus on my fifth point, which is the impact that 285 people in Harpers Ferry has on this county regarding the revenue. we swell from 285 to tens of thousands in weekends. So, and I know I'm not talking to strangers. Any other questions you?
Yeah, I do have one. Have you engaged any of our state legislators from this area to see, I mean, we're talking about economic impact, we're talking about infrastructure. I mean, have you engaged with any of them?
I had Senator Rucker.
Okay.
Senator Rucker and I, she arranged for a trip to Charleston. She and I went there 4 or 5 months ago, and she set up meetings with water people in Charleston, and I met personally with the director of the WDA. Came away with a very positive feeling about that, and I've done some follow-ups, discussions with Marie Prociosco, who is the director, and but we have submitted all that paperwork. I'm just waiting. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here this morning. I appreciate it.
Could I add one thing? I'm the chair of budget and finance for the county of Harpsburg. And one of the things is our consumers are paying. We have raised our rates among the highest in the state. And I think we can really, I think we've hit the ceiling on rates for our water customers.
Yeah, I agree. Harvest Ferry down at the proper municipality is in a unique situation because it's a National Park Service, which is federal. And we have the municipality, we have the county, we have the state. So we've got many layers there. So I'm hopeful we can all work together and come up with
It's
something.
a juggling act,
Yes.
governing
Yes.
in that area.
Oh,
yes,
You know.
yes.
Who should I submit this to for the record?
That'd probably be Jess.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
And just another thought, and I know it's sometimes difficult. I would think the Park Service would be very concerned about the water supply. With visitors they attract in their own facilities. But I understand some federal employees will not take the initiative, to assist in lobbying. They're in a peculiar position, but it certainly impacts the park, I would think.
Yeah, I guess that was some of the point I was trying to
Yeah.
make is the town is bearing the burden of all.
Right, yes.
The wear and tear on the infrastructure that's
Right.
happening down there. It is.
Flooded with visitors.
Correct.
We were at a point of up to, I believe, a 40% water loss. We had a break Thursday of last week of a 6-inch main that was probably, by the time they got to it, I can't begin to tell you how much water went down the street. Hundreds of thousands of gallons.
Yeah.
So, and that's not unusual.
Right.
That's not unusual.
Well, Charlestown experienced that. And they're still fixing some of it.
I want to add, we're on one big rock. It's expensive to take pipe out of that type of ground versus, in the old days, by the way, they used dynamite in the old days to put in the original pipes because that much stone is there. So it's expensive for us to put in pipe versus a flat area of the county. Way more expensive. I agree.
All right.
You want to stay here till 2 or 3?
I do sympathy for your problem. I don't know where we can find all the money, but,
Honorable Commissioners, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's everyone that we have on the agenda for today. We still have a number of applications that we have not heard from yet. So we'll open it up to you. Do you want to make any decisions on any that we saw today? Or do you want to go ahead and schedule the next session so that we can bring in the remainder of the applications and hear from them before we make any decisions?
I have a question. I had somebody asked me, if is there a new application, are we still accepting new applications? Or, I don't know how we.
I haven't turned any away, let me put it that way. I've gotten a couple over the last couple of months. I haven't turned any away. So as far as I know, we'll have at least one more meeting. And I would like to wrap things up at the next meeting to have all of the presentations. So if there is, one more application for, public safety or infrastructure, that we should get that in now.
Yeah.
So that we can hear it in the next meeting, along with the remainder of the requests, and then make some final decisions.
Yeah, I'd like to hear some more requests. And I think some of these folks are going back to get some more information, like the radios for the bakery.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
His costs would probably be adjusted as well.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the cost.
And then also, it'll take a while for us to hear back from all the mayors to see who would be interested in putting in money for that position.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
to your point on that, I mean, to me, the position seems appropriately suited to be placed at the community ministries for somebody to have oversight when you're coordinating those types of services. So I mean, I just don't know that it's a county government position
Right.
with the buy-in from the towns. To me, it would be contribute to the community ministries to offset that position and let them manage.
From my experience, typically, that type of position would be a county department or a county agency. So we typically report to your county government. Because you're able to secure funding from other grant opportunities. If it's a county department, if it's not a county department, you're not able to secure those additional granting opportunities from CDBG and things like that.
I see, okay.
And if you're a government entity instead of a nonprofit group,
Right.
they're more.
That was the
willing, I
biggest
think.
thing for when looking at the granting opportunities. They're only available to county governments. They're not available to.
Is it possible for us to, as that position becomes available, to make that a loaned position to community ministries? So they, because you're right, to manage that type of operation out of my office.
Right.
So, but community ministries they've got the connections, I think, that they would capitalize on that a lot better than perhaps we would.
Yeah, right, and I would like to see the buy-in. To me, when I saw it on the list, I thought it would be redundant to
Right.
whatever community ministries is already doing. Just administratively, I think it fits into their operation
I agree.
for
It
for
does.
oversight and managing the.
I'm just thinking of sustainability to be able to fund it in the future. It would need to be a county.
Right, and you're more apt to get access to certain pots of money.
Correct.
Being a local government.
Not just for payment of the position, but
No,
pots of
you're
money
right,
to
for
help with,
grants. Yeah.
Homeless or housing or food banks and immunization. We have more access to those types of grant fundings than they
I
do.
think when we look at this position, there's a lot going through my head, right? About, the funding, sustaining this position in the out years is critical, because you don't want to start this and then end it.
Right.
Is this going to be, are we going to have a board attached to this, because the ministries has a board that does that, and that, so I'm kind of leaning towards what you're saying. Maybe we could somehow, and probably need to check with our legal counsel, is if we could loan this position and still be within the department, but they manage the position. So we're still able to get grant money as a vehicle to get grant money. I'm just hoping there's a way we can do that, but we just need to figure that out.
I'm also, to Steve's point, is the contributions from the municipalities to cover this. How does that work if it's a county employee?
I would suspect that every year when the budget process goes through, that we would probably need to go to the municipalities and say, what are you budgeting? What are you going to ante up for to support that position and its mission?
I think, we'd have to have a minimum commitment from each municipality for that position.
Yes.
For a couple of years. I think the
Yeah,
minimum
an
commitment would
MOU,
need to be
yeah.
for a couple of years. And then once that person is in that position, that person would then be responsible for applying for grants. And those grants also include county government or city governments, local governments. They would still need to reach out and, Because in order to get federal grant funding, you need to show that you have local matches. And those local matches aren't just county, they are towns throughout the county.
So I have a question then. So how much would you be thinking that state grants would be contributing? I mean, do you have a ballpark figure in mind?
Well, so we have, I mean, Charlestown has on here 25,000.
So a grant, if you give 100, that'd be fine.
Well, so, I mean, this is why we're saying we're not ready to
I'm
make a
just off the top of my head,
decision.
I think the grants, I think,
So I think we probably need just to figure out what the position does and what it costs to run. I mean, salary is one thing, but you'll need other money coming in to offset printing costs, advertising costs, all your paper pamphlets that you're gonna want to put together, your reach out,
this
your
person's
outreach
gonna have a
piece.
lot of travel, they're gonna have this education as a human
So,
rights job.
I think what we need to do is perhaps take a look at the position over in Berkeley County, just to kind of figure out what they do and what that budget lift is, and then come back to you and say, this is what it looks like over there, this is what it costs them every year. And then you could say, well, we'll do the 150 in ARPA, but we would need a certain contribution from every municipality to make it happen. I just want to make sure it's sustainable in the out years, and that we've got administrative support behind it to make it happen, because this is something, we're creating something out of nothing here.
Correct.
Really, and I mean, what you're saying to my department is figure this thing out, create a budget, bring it back. You already have a job description, because the last person in my position did the job description, so for a start, but I'd need some time to look into that whole thing.
It requires a departmental budget, it requires.
As far as getting money from the municipalities to fund this, obviously, as y'all know, we provide police service to Bolivar. There's some mechanism how they pay for that every year and set it in their budget. So it'd be very similar to some type of an agreement with you.
We would do an MOU, Steve, with Shepherd, Bolivar, Harpers Ferry, Charlestown, Ransom, all the, and just to say this would be what your commitment is, maybe 5,000 a year, maybe it's 10,000. I don't
Maybe
know
it's a
idea.
percentage of the population. Yeah,
Right.
there are different ways to look at it.
Yeah, we talked about that a long time ago in a meeting. It was on a Zoom meeting a long time ago. We talked about how that'd be divided up. So.
And is it gonna be board, God bless you, is it gonna be board driven? Is it, when it gets right down to who manages that person's work program, would it be me or would that be the ministries,
Yeah.
If we do a loaned exec type of position in the ministries, I would say, let them manage that person, because for me to try to manage through their office would be a nightmare. 'Cause
So that would be another type of agreement or MOU on how the ministries would engage with,
Right.
if it was a county hire, not.
Yeah, we want to be able to, through the county, we want to be able to measure success. Look at their growth over the years, because they're going to grow, right? I mean, we heard the statistics, there's 2% homeless, probably going to grow. And the need for other services is going to, this is not a position that's going to shrink, our mission is going to shrink in size, it's going to grow in size, I would suspect.
I would have some concerns and reservations about loaning it to someone else and letting them manage it, because ultimately this person would be on the county's payroll, and the liability for any employment issues would fall into the county. So that would be my reservation for considering it, looking at it.
So if you
So we
could,
need to look at it.
let's, this is all new to me. Let me dig into this a little bit to see if I can make some sense out of it.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that person can probably pull some of the resources that the community ministries already has with maybe some assistance.
Yeah.
And anyway.
Right.
I think we need to look into that more, but I'm glad you brought that up, because I think there's a lot of unknowns and a lot of holes there before we can even consider anything.
Yeah, I mean,
It
we're
definitely would be a collaborative effort between us and the ministries.
we're talking about starting a whole new work program here. I just want to caution you that when you start a whole new work program from scratch, there's a lot of stuff that has to be done to get it in place.
Is there any other county that has a similar position?
Well, I think Berkeley may have a similar position. I gotta call over there and check. I don't know.
Berkeley, I mean, we went up and visited at least for the vouchers and their programs, and they're out of the homeless, there's a whole homeless community up there, or housing.
Yes, that's
Yes.
right, that's right.
So I went with Mayor Trainer and Ms. Meeks up for that meeting. And I mean, they have a team, but I think a large portion of theirs is DHHR supported and funded. I think most of their staff is safe. So all of our resources go to Berkeley for Mortgage Jefferson Berkeley.
So this is.
Those voucher programs and all of that.
We're just trying to keep those dollars in the county.
Right, yeah.
Well, and that was one of the things I think when we first started talking about this was how do we get our lion's share of what's being given to Berkeley because of the people being able to justify and that we're separating from that or that we're not reinventing the wheel.
So we've got a lot of homework to do.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Was there any project that you wanted to make any decisions on at all today, or just wait until the next meeting?
The one I was really considering was the SNet.
Yeah.
Jeff's
Yeah.
presentation.
That was my priority, yeah, the other net.
Okay. So the request is for 750,000. Of course, it's not a final number. He would still need to prepare an RFP for that.
Could he prepare an RFP to come back to us?
Well, an RFP typically takes 6 months to a year,
Yes.
so I would recommend you approve the budget. He could be coming back to you and saying, I need 900,000, right, once the RFP is all said and done.
Which at that time would be a budget ask.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go ahead and move to accept ARC number 6 for the, oh, I got 3 papers here. I'll just leave this upgrading the 911 SNet system.
And I'll second that with a little additional information, the amount was $750,000.
To add the amount of 750,000. Yes, sir, thank you. And then even blank check.
I just got a lot of papers too.
Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
This one's small. It's the $18,000 for the walk-in cooler replacement for the senior center. So I want to make a motion to approve. I think that's number 13, $18,000 for the senior center.
I'll second it. I agree.
Yeah.
That's mine.
And I just say, is that eligible for ARPA fund? I don't know how a freezer would be for a walk-in fridge.
They serve the community, they serve
Okay.
elderly, they serve.
My brain was just saying it had to be public safety related. So
No, it's not all public safety.
Gotcha.
You can have economic projects in here, tourism, you can have things that benefit homeless and serve the community.
Well, and feeding people, yeah.
They're not homeless, some maybe, but for the most part, they're
Homebound in Texas.
correct.
Yeah.
They're in need, citizens in need, they're low income.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So if there are no other projects that you wanted to make any motions on today, I think we need to schedule the next meeting. And I believe that we will be able to fit all of the rest of the requests on the next meeting, and then we should be able to close things out. Keep in mind that the next meeting, we're also going to need to consider lost revenue. As I mentioned earlier, we're allowed to draw down up to 8 million of ARPA funding for lost revenue. I'm sorry, not 8 million, 10 million for lost revenue. We've only drawn down 1.5 million for lost revenue at this point. So in September, or did you want to do it in 2 weeks?
I would say, probably September.
Thursday, September the 8th. It's not a meeting day.
That's right, we're on the first.
We're out of town.
Well. Oh, that's Labor Day week. I mean,
Right.
Okay.
most of them are back in school, but that is a holiday.
The 15th is a meeting day, so we could still do it that week. We just would need to pick a different day.
Would you like it to just tag it on to the end of the regular commission meeting on that day? I mean, it's
Or before, because that's an evening meeting, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and these are taking about 2 hours.
September 1st isn't it? Well, the 15th.
The 15th.
How about the 22nd?
Well, we could do the first after our meeting, right? Most of our day meetings are.
Oh, yeah, we can
Our
Yeah,
meeting,
we could do a
our
1 o'clock.
evening meetings.
Yeah, 1 o'clock session.
On September the 1st.
First. Yeah, right.
Sorry.
You didn't want an evening.
No, I wanted to be able to be here.
Right. So we have. Okay, so I'll just schedule the remainder of our projects for September 1st at 1 p.m.
Okay.
And if you get any new ones, will you add those?
I'll add that as well.
There was somebody, and I forwarded to you folks a letter from a farmer last week about a program that they're doing over in Frederick County to offset the rising cost of nutrient management fertilizer for farmers. So then they sent us a subsequent email, yes, I think Jessica, about this as well. I talked to Michelle. This may also be a program where it could be funded through ARPA, but they're individual farmers. It would be not a corporation thing. And you could get flooded with those requests. I don't know how many farmers in Jefferson County, it's got to be a bunch.
Well, and I know the price of fertilizer this year, it was astronomical. But you're opening a huge can of worms that would take every penny we had.
So.
And we don't know what the price of grain is gonna sell for. So they may, even with the increased costs, make a profit, but we don't know yet.
No. So anyway, that was we had just gotten that one in, had a handwritten letter in Friday. We got an subsequent email yesterday. So, and apparently Frederick County is doing this program. I don't know what it looks like, but I don't think they're using ARPA money over there. I think it's some other source. I just don't know. So, it was a suggestion. They're not asking. They're saying just think about it. So,
Might be with their farmland preservation program.
So that's the only one that really, that was a late coming.
All right, thank you.
I think that's everything that I have.
See you back here at
1 o'clock. See you at 1.
Yes, I think it's one. I hope it's at 1.
It's at 1, right?
Oh.
Not 1:30?
It's at 1.
I'm sorry, I already stood up. You didn't drink it.
There's no objection.
Thank you.